Hi guys, welcome back to Reddit Reader's Digest. Today we will be reading Marriages in Hell. So, gonna be pretty
Ooh,
fun, different types of stories from different subreddits. I really tried to go look for different subreddits because, I don't want to do always the same subreddits. So this one, I took some from r/marriage. So
okay. So the familial drama continues.
it truly is a great source of drama. Because I called you, because
So
Isaac. Um, Because Isaac, friends, you can always like not have friends in your life, and that can be very easy. But family, no matter, even if you have like, you can never really separate from your family, even if
no,
they're the most terrible people on earth.
yeah, that's what makes it so interesting to read about them. And
Yeah.
relatable.
But the thing is, for marriages, these are people that you pick to be with.
That's
So
true. The dynamic's a little different. It's
the
not
dynamics
something
are a little different.
that's
So
true.
our first story is going to have, I think, a few updates, and
Okay.
it
So some
goes
twists.
kind of crazy. So on the r/marriage subreddit, 182 days ago, someone said, I, 33 female, read my husband's 37 male's journal, and in it he says that he hates me and hopes I die.
Damn. That's a pretty crazy story. Already I would say it's not super simple.
Yeah, because you have some stories that says, am I the asshole for giving him the butter? And like it's not very
Mm-hmm.
explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
But this is very like literal.
Yeah.
So
And so I mean this is assuming that she read his private journal, which was not meant for anybody's eyes but his own, which is already a little bit of a invasion of privacy. But I also understand being disturbed by that. But
let's
let's
hear it.
hear what the actual story is.
My husband has kept a semi-regular journal throughout our 4-year relationship. He does not keep it hidden, and up until now, I've always respected his privacy. We had a heated conversation, and my gut told me to read it, so after he left for work, I did. He wrote several times that he hates me, and at one point he said when I was sick, he hoped I would die. When I read those words, I packed up me and our baby and went to a friend's where I'm staying at now. I took pictures of all the pages. I told him I just need some space to cool off after our conversation, and I will be home soon. I booked with my therapist and contacted a lawyer. We had a rough patch recently that lasted about 2 weeks. It was a dark time, but we pulled through. There was no violence, no moments where I was afraid of him, just sincere conversations about difficult feelings. The notes of hatred correspond with that rough patch. The rest of the journal is tame and reflects the man I know and love. Mostly little self pep talks around work and family stuff, goals,
Mm,
and habit tracking. He has sent me several warm messages since I left. He says he is glad I am taking space for myself, that he looks forward to reconnecting when I come home. It's okay to have little hiccups, that he loves me, etc. I was sure our relationship was over the moment I read that he hates me, or even that I felt the need to violate his privacy. But the warm messages and the rest of the journal had me wavering a little. I understand that the need to blow off steam when things are tense, and journaling is a healthy way to do that, but never even in our darkest moments have I fantasized about his death. Splitting up maybe, but this feels so sinister. I don't know how I could ever feel safe around him again. Is this just venting, healthy venting, and am I overreacting here? Has anyone else had similar thoughts about a spouse that they then got over? Or is this a man I need to protect myself and my baby from? Edit to add context. The rough patch was about his feelings for another woman. He didn't cheat, but his friendship with her makes me uncomfortable. The part of the journal where he says he hates me has was written as a love letter to her. He
what
says he thinks about me dying and being replaced. TLDR, my husband and I had a rough patch, and he wrote in his journal that he hates me and hopes I die. Wondering if this could be healthy venting, or if not, what steps should I take to protect me and my baby? And that's the end of our first kind of post.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy story,
Really
I mean,
story.
Isaac. I keep saying your someone
I
else's
f
name. Um, what's your Isaac thoughts, Isaac?
well, I kinda trans the last little part there really changes it, I think. Because I think she's pretty self-aware and she knows that she shouldn't have looked in that journal.
Mhm.
I understand being disturbed by what you see in the journal, which is why she shouldn't have never looked there in the first place because it's not meant for her to see. Uh, I will say I think assuming those words aren't with any actions,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it wasn't okay, but people do that kinda thing. I
People
mean,
do that kinda thing, and,
when people are really angry, they're not rational and they say
yeah,
stuff.
it's like because all you see when you're really, really angry is kind of this red in your eyes or something, like,
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, I've never gone to, like, an insane level of anger. I never, like my body just can't go to that high of an
yeah,
anger, but,
same.
I wanna say that, you know, it can get you to a very dangerous place, but if you're just writing and that could be just be helpful, I think it might be a bit suspicious, but my thing is I think couples counseling would probably do them some good,
I agree.
and then just like, just I understand that you feel scared, but it was just writing, but you have to have a conversation about what you wrote because obviously what you did was not amazing because you looked in his privacy,
No, yeah,
but you guys gotta talk about it. So
yeah.
yeah,
And she even admits that writing something like that is about the best way to vent about something like that
yeah,
possible. So, like, he had that anger and he chose to write it in his journal, even if it's disturbing. Like, he could have said that to her in his anger. He could have done so many things in that anger, but he chose that was, like, a relatively healthy way
yeah.
to,
It wasn't like that bad,
to
you know.
yeah, yeah. I will say the whole thing with the other girl, like,
That's a bit
that's
weird. That's when it gets a bit
that makes it
weird.
more complicated.
He wrote it as a love letter to her that she dies? That's a bit
That's, like,
weird.
weird.
That's
That's
definitely
weird.
something that I didn't even think about. That's another
Yeah,
level of kind of
and that's something that actually could affect the marriage, like, really could be affecting the relationship that they need to address,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
as far as I could tell.
Well, the comments on the posting because she posted in a few places relationship advice and just relationships. So on the marriage subreddit, they said he wishes you dead and you are not overreacting. That is how he feels about you. All the other is an act. Girl, check if he has taken a life insurance on your name with him as a beneficiary. So that one's
Okay,
more of a very against. It seems that the the commentaries are very against her husband,
okay.
and
That makes sense.
which makes sense because I guess if anything, you might be actually underreacting. So people are really against the husband. I could definitely see that when they add the factor of in the girl, like that
Yeah,
he's friends with. So yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's I guess even in, like, a intense spurt of anger,
is
saying
it-
or writing something like that especially I guess writing is all because writing is more conscious, like,
yeah,
you really gotta be that's not just coming out, that's, like,
yeah.
really
And
thinking
so
about
that's I think a factor I didn't even think about. So it could be very very negative s-
yeah,
situation. So it might be over, but I don't know.
yeah. It's definitely would be a very disturbing thing to see, very disturbing, like yeah, especially if you have, like, a kid and stuff, that's, like, really messed up, but,
Yeah, and
yeah, I don't know, maybe we were off mark on this.
yeah,
I was.
maybe. I hate being off the mark on something.
I know, I just yeah.
So there's an update. There's two updates, I think. But yeah. So update. I hope I'm doing this right. Thank you all so much for the advice and words of encouragement. Some of it was tough to read, but it was still deeply appreciated. Wanted to do an update because a lot of people were concerned for my safety. I took a commentator's advice and sent the pictures to a trusted friend. She pointed out that a passage I initially read as "every day I think about telling her" actually very clearly says "killing her."
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I guess my brain couldn't comprehend that at first. I received a ton of helpful perspective and support, but that comment in particular might have saved my life. After I digested that, I called a crisis line, and they were quite helpful in talking me through the shock. They also put me in touch with a center that's helping me get more affordable legal help. Bought some more time with my husband, told him I'm enjoying getting out of town and I'd like to stay an extra night or two. I have therapy tomorrow and an appointment with a social worker to make a safety plan. I feel like I have a good crew of family, friends, and professionals to help support me. Absolutely zero regrets how I read his journal. My gut told me something was off, but I couldn't have imagined a worst case scenario as bad as this. I'm so glad the inner alarm bells were louder than my conscience this time. Nothing about this marriage is worth risking my life to salvage. TLDR, I initially misread a part in the journal that says he thinks every day about killing me. Will be keeping myself out of the news and staying the hell away from him for good.
Damn.
Damn. So we were
Okay.
really off the mark, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially, I don't know. I guess it's like maybe as something like he said once when he's super angry in his notebook that he didn't really mean. Even maybe even that's not justifiable.
Yeah.
But like
Maybe that is a bit much because I'm like
but as
killing like that's gonna sound like very kind of school shootery like saying like I
yeah.
wanna not I'm not saying it's cool, but it's the same type of thing they would do like writing I'm gonna kill this person or like I think every day about just going and killing. It's like
Yeah.
it shows like a very um like conscious decision as you said to like do an act of violence that okay, day one you're not going to do it, but if you keep building this up, it builds up to a point where it does become incredibly violent. And I apologize that I did not kind of see that perspective earlier, because like we don't have like a woman's perspective or even like a spouse or marriage perspective that it's gonna be a very dangerous scenario and situation.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. And also that it was the whole I think about killing her every day is very like
So
it's not
creepy
even
and
like something
violent.
it's not even something he said like in a moment of intense anger. It's something that he's like
He's
thinks about
writing and
regularly.
hiding, you know?
Scary.
'Cause, like, I could respect the guy if he, like, said it to her and, like, said, you know, I'm having. Cause even, like, maybe, like, admitting it, not just, like, kind of writing it, like, just, like, in a moment, like, you just totally be vulnerable and say, "I do not like this, but this is sometimes where my mind goes." It's more respectable because he's, like, he's admitting it to her, not just, like, hiding it away,
Mhm.
but he's not doing that, and that's very
Yeah.
could be very dangerous, you know?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean,
But it's nice that she kind of got like she has a good crew now to help
it,
her.
it and also like I mean, I talked about how like her invading his privacy, which is definitely a thing.
Yeah,
But it sounds like she was right to do it in the end,
yeah.
and the fact that she knew something about the situation was really sketchy, and it was more like a life like a not so much like a petty thing she did in anger, but something like she had some gut sense that her life was in danger. So I guess you can't really blame her at all for that.
We have another update, and it's big. It's a big ass update.
Okay, good.
Um, just want to say thank you to this community for helping me through such a challenging time. Your comments and messages have been such a comfort, and I'm touched by the kindness of internet strangers. At the suggestion of the social worker, I reported his journal to the local police, and that was unsurprisingly a 1 out of 10 experience. The officer I spoke to chided me for reading his journal, spoke about his reasonable expectation of privacy, and basically threatened to tell my husband that I had reported him. I had to firmly advocate for myself and stress that I was afraid for my life. It was an awful conversation, but now there is at least a track record which includes photos of the journal. The family lawyer I spoke to advised me to file a protection order right away. The order would ban him from all contact with me and our child, bar him from our residence, my workplace, and any other places I request. He then would have to prove a judge that he is a fit parent to be able to see his daughter again. and then we would go to mediation to try and agree on what visitation would look like. Another wrench in this situation is that we own a business together. I have an appointment with another lawyer this week to discuss what my options are there. The business was my idea. I'm confident that I can run it without him, and I want to. But he's put a lot of time into it, and it's the main source of income for both of us right now. It's a good moneymaker, and I'm worried he'd fight me tooth and nail on this. We take turns going in, so I went as usual on Saturday with a friend and a baseball bat. I continued my act of intending to reconcile, doing video calls with the baby, etc. While I was at our workplace, I found another journal.
Oh my gosh.
Page after page of love letters to this other woman, going back
Um,
months. The progression from "I liked seeing you at the grocery store" to "I drove past your house today" was wild. He writes about how he's deeply in love with her, can't wait to marry her, etc. He wrote about every interaction he's ever had with her, and the poor woman seems completely innocent and oblivious. Even what he perceived as flirting seems like basic politeness. He mentions a few other times that he wants me to die. The most recent entry from the day before, he writes to her that he thinks I might be breaking up with him, but that's fine because he never liked me that much anyway. If he's upset about anything, it's just about losing the house and how the breakup will be perceived by our friends and community. Curious if people think I should warn the other woman. It's my instinct not to, at least not before the ink dries on our impending paperwork. I was already concerned about how he might react to being served with the protection order, most worried that he might try to sabotage our business or trash the house. Given how preoccupied he seems to be with his public image, I made a plan to confront him about the journals and use the protection order as leverage. Here is how it went down. Before we get into how it went down, Jesus Christ, Isaac.
yeah,
Damn.
that's very messy and very disturbing.
We were in so incredibly wrong about this guy, man.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that kind of begs the question, like, is there any way where this could have been like a decent normal guy who said something like that when he was angry, or a decent normal person, or is it like if you say anything like that at all, is that always a sign of something bigger? I
I,
don't know.
I really, I really do not know in this scenario, Isaac. This is
'Cause
such a
obviously
crazy
in this
situation.
scenario, that was I mean, yeah, that was that shit, like, crazy,
No, it's like
but this person
it's insane how he keeps such a fucking double life from his wife, you know,
yeah, that's really disturbing.
and like how he seems like kind of a fucking creep by with
Yeah,
this other woman who doesn't seem to recognize him at all.
yeah, and that is
And like I wonder how like
feels like it kinda
friends
motivates
they are,
people.
how friends he is with this other woman, you know,
Yeah, he definitely has, like, stalker
some
kinda
maybe some sociopathy or psychopathy. I don't know.
yeah, disturbing.
Here's how it went down. I left the journal and my baby with my friend and went to our house with two trusted male friends and the baseball bat. They waited on our porch. I told my husband that if they heard anything louder than a speaking voice, they would come in with the bat. I told him I had to tell him something he wouldn't like to hear, and he needed to know that I had already taken steps to protect myself. I told him I read the journal, specifically what he said about wanting me to die and thinking about killing me every day. I said I had taken photos, that they are backed up, and a trusted source also has copies. That I also have the original copy of the journal full of love letters. I wondered until this moment if he had intended for me to find them, but he was obviously blindsided. He tried to say it was just venting, but I told him I would not be taking any chances of entertaining anything he has to say about it. That after reading what I read, I will never trust him or feel safe around him ever again. I told him that no one that knows him knows about this yet. The men on our porch just know that I'm breaking up with him and need support. This was true, aside from the friend that I'd called to stay with and the other friend I sent the photos to, who lives on the other side of the country. I said that I am willing to protect his reputation if he cooperates with me. And I told him that I don't even have to ruin his chances with other women, but I can. I said that he can either do what I need to feel safe, or I can have that safety court ordered. He asked what I wanted, and I said I wanted to give him up the business. I want him to give up the business. We'll sort out the details after I speak to the other lawyer, but for now, I want his keys and I'll be changing the passwords on everything. He didn't put up any kind of fight. He didn't want to hear anything about what it would look like to go through the courts. He didn't ask about our baby. He just calmly got up and got the keys and asked if I wanted anything else. I told him that any communication with me should be about separation, logistics only, like arranging a time for me to collect the rest of my things. Since then, he has been blowing up my phone, saying, I know his heart, let's walk back from the edge, let's talk to a therapist. He's sorry his words hurt me. Each time I just tell him he's crossing my boundaries and he backs off. He apparently told me his mom and sister it, everything, and they're supporting him in getting help. He's been cooperative so far. He's interviewing for a new job, seeing a therapist, and updating me on the movements. I didn't ask for this. I've temporarily moved in with my parents. My commute to work is longer, but I have help with baby and home cooked dinners. Starting to settle in new routines and doing so much therapy and yoga. I inherited a small cabin before my husband and I met. It is currently being renovated, and the original plan was to move in there with my husband and the baby when it's done. The cabin is actually in my mother's name because she never trusted my husband. Correct.
Good instinct.
And wanted me to shield it from him in case of a divorce. Thank you, Mom.
Yes.
So I will have a permanent home for me and my baby very soon. The dust still needs to settle, and it could get worse before it gets better, but I'm optimistic at this point. I'm confident that I'm going to come out of this the other side as a badass single mom with an incredible child, a thriving business, and an adorable little home. Honestly, the thought of having all those things on my own without my husband is so freeing. I've got a great little village supporting me. Thank you all for being part of it. TLDR, confronted my husband about the journal with backup. He's going to step away from our shared business and stay out of my life. Have a protection order if he acts up.
Interesting. Okay. So it seems like she handled it very well, and she's
Yeah,
such a good like a very good positive outlook on the outcome, which is great for her.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But it seems like the guy, he's like he's a very bad guy, and
Yeah,
he's like
sounds
I
like
don't know, like it. There's a certain point where it's like you can fix your issues with somebody, but there's a certain point where it's like no amount of therapy, no amount of anything can really fix this situation from
no,
coming back. You know?
it's deeper than, like, a little mistake,
Yeah, it's
is what
nothing.
we're
It's
acting like
just
it was.
it's because like okay, you could say something like if it was like some sort of trauma. And I don't know if this guy has some sort of trauma, but it's like you continually acted this way for like a long time with your journals, and it just shows a repeated pattern of behavior that just shows that what if okay you take him back, but next time what happens he when he
No,
actually acts out, you
no,
know?
then this guy has this weird affiliate, like, this weird fantasies of this random girl who barely knows him,
Yeah.
like, he's just seems unhinged in a lot of ways.
And it seems like she's recognized that she can do
Who's
this by
famous.
herself
Yeah,
and like
and that
not
having
have
him not go through it.
yeah. And so people are really happy that she's getting out of the situation. I'm glad to hear how much better things are getting and that you were able to escape a dangerous situation. And yeah, I also understand someone said like I understand your hesitancy to not contact the woman, which makes sense because it could get very kind of messy, but
Yeah.
definitely once the divorce papers hit, I'd probably try to contact that woman.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be worried. I mean, this guy is obviously has violent thoughts and
Because
it's like a
like what
pattern of violent thoughts.
because like he's
Multiple
basically
violent
stalking
thoughts.
this woman kind of. I went by her house. I
Yeah,
did all those
yeah.
things.
He, like, thinks something's going on between them, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Um, and then that leads into these weird fantasies of murder, and they're
And
very scary.
yeah, no, people are like, "You're amazingly strong. Wow. Thanks." She says, OP says, "Thanks. I wouldn't have said this. I was strong a week ago. At one point, I was so stressed, I was actually shitting myself, and my face has broken out in a rash. So it hasn't been all warrior energy, but we're getting there, which is nice. It seems like also it's better scenario for the child because, like,
Yo,
what if he gets violent towards the child? Like, this child is
okay.
so like, I want my wife. I hope my child would die. What if he says that? That's like
No,
insane.
yeah. Or also, like, just having your child around a guy who, like, fantasizes about you dying, like, regularly, and, I mean, because it's not even just, like, a one-time venting kinda thing, it's obviously, like, a pattern of really serious anger and twisted
Yeah,
thought.
and and also yeah, I would definitely. I don't think right now would be this time because like if you tell the other girls about him, what if he gets like violent towards you? You know,
That's true, he still seems like he's a little dangerous just in general.
he just seems like a very dangerous guy who's kind of had a facade for a long time.
I agree, yeah, and luckily, they were able to read through it.
Yeah,
We
and
weren't able to.
so we were so wrong, Isaac.
I know, yeah, we didn't take it as seriously as it
Which at
was.
least this was some growth in the podcast.
That's true,
Um,
we learned a lot from this story.
so that's kind of the end of the story for now. But
Yeah, we spoke.
yeah, it was all like 182 days ago.
That's a crazy one.
So not that far ago. So
No, I hope she's doing okay, and her child is doing
maybe it was
okay,
the beginning of the year or something. I don't know.
and that their husband is, I don't know, under some
Yeah.
control or I don't know, not hurting anybody. Ex-husband. Okay, what do we got next?
It's a bit of a shorter story, but thank
Okay,
God for 'cause that was a
that
really
one
long one.
you're long, yeah.
My wife discovered I deleted a text, and now she says she doesn't love me.
Whoa,
And this is from the r/marriage subreddit. So, 214 days ago, someone said, "Well, that's the long and short of it. No, the text wasn't to another woman. It wasn't to my buddy. We were joking about how lucky our wives were to have us, and I said if we were single, we'd be hang gliding nude over Las Vegas with strippers. Anyways, I know she doesn't like this friend because he cheated on his wife before and even seeing the word stripper in a text with him would cause her to fly off the handle and probably ruin our weekend. So I deleted it just in case. She was showing my son a funny text I sent to my other friend, and even though I deleted the last text to my other buddy, it still displayed the he laughed at it and what it said. She then went into the text chain with him and saw that it was no longer there. Anyways, she can no longer trust me. I get her being upset to a certain extent, but at the same time, I would like to be able to have male banter and not have to worry about her reading my text. In my opinion, overreacting. I don't want to feel like I need to delete something harmless like that. She claims she wouldn't have gotten mad if she read the original text, but history tells me otherwise. My explanation to her was that I would never withhold or hide information from her that was relevant or relationship threatening. And I honestly wouldn't. But nonsense like this that is really none of her business is just that. None of her business. So am I a horrible husband? Is this trust breaking material? So if you're not this was a bit confusing, but so he deleted a text and then she got like mad, you know? Yeah, so
okay.
yeah. And so that's kind of like the end of that short. There is an edit that says, I'm seeing a lot of comments about the context of the joke. Just the word stripper seems to be triggering a lot of people. Again, my wife said she wouldn't have cared if she saw it. I believe that she wouldn't care about the context, but since it was with this particular person, I thought she would have, which is why I deleted it. I can say with confidence that I had made this joke with any other person, she would have not cared. We are both adults and realize the notion of me hang gliding over Vegas with strippers is an absurd concept, aka a joke. I'm sorry if some of you have been scorned by men behaving badly with strippers and like but I have never been to a strip club, nor do I have interest in it, and my wife knows this. So getting the full. So this is just a short little kind of thing. So
Um,
yeah, what do you
seems
think?
a lot less serious than the last one.
No, it doesn't. It's definitely not like the last one. There's like some definitely
No,
some repeated
no
kind of
one here is
weird behavior, but it is really really weird that she says she doesn't love him or trust him for that. That's a bit. I understand like with his friend, but isn't like a weird reaction, like a really weird reaction,
it
and um, it seems like people are kind of against him in the comments, which I guess makes sense because like marriages, and we haven't been married, Isaac, but it shows
yeah,
people are being like because that could be really negative and like it could be a like people could have like history and as he said in the edit that people like have some trauma like their own history but with it. But I'm gonna say I might be going against the grain here. I don't think it was like insanely bad, and I think her reaction of it. Maybe this is another bad take, but if her reaction of it was a bit intense. But I know there is like the whole friend thing where this guy is like he cheated on his wife, and so it could
yeah,
alarm her. But I don't know.
yeah. I think we need to know a little bit more context about the relationship to see if this is like a camel straw on the camel's back kind of thing. I will say I think deleting it probably was definitely a
Makes it
bad
weird
idea. It makes it
because
way
it's
worse.
not weird until you make it weird.
Yeah, I do agree with her that she'd probably be less mad if he didn't delete it. Cause like, at least then he's not hiding anything.
Yeah,
Hiding something seems like a really bad thing, like, in any marriage to um,
and
yeah, I
but
don't think he
especially because
did.
it comes from this guy, the friend for
Yeah,
the friend.
yeah, and I get her hesitancy about that, and I mean, it's kind of it's a crude joke to make when you're married.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
think
be
it's something
hang gliding over.
it's obviously,
Yeah,
like, a
you
stupid
also
it's
yeah
I get her being annoyed and being
yeah.
upset, but I
Someone's really the comments are really I think against him. Here's a like some of the top comments. Your friend is not the problem. You are. You feel that speaking in a way that you know is degrading to your wife is okay. When reality sets in, you decide that if you delete these, everything will be okay. So now that there's a deleted text that she finds out about, she doesn't trust you because she knows that deleting a text indicates guilt over something. You say it was
yeah.
XYZ. Seriously, do you think she believes you? This is about blatant disrespect for your wife. How would you feel in reverse if it was her with her friend with a less than stellar reputation talking to her about getting loose with some hot dudes?
That's fair. That's really
That's a fair
fair. I think
comment because like I definitely could see a scenario where this guy thinks like, oh, what's the deal? But then when she has like a hot guy friend or something,
yeah,
or
he
like
gets a little jealous.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think at least if he's gonna make this, like, kinda inappropriate joke, kind of at the wife's expense, he should own up to it and not delete it like that. That's just kinda, you know, like, just leave it
male,
there.
yeah,
And if this is a
male,
pattern, like, if
yeah,
he makes these jokes all the time, then I understand the wife being really upset
yeah. So and
because
I
that's
don't
like
know. We just don't know.
yeah. If
Someone's
yeah.
Someone said male banter. So as a male, you have to involve strippers into the conversation somehow. That's kind of weird, my guy.
That's
And I don't
fair.
know about you, Isaac. We only talk about strippers.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's like the whole lot like, what
Yeah,
like, when people always talk about, like, the locker room talk,
yeah,
like, is it
yeah,
good to just normalize that, or is it good to call it out as being, like,
yeah. And
just
that's
because
an interesting
for
discussion because, like,
guys
at one point, does
isn't
it get like really harmful towards other
yeah,
people? Because
yeah,
like it's not just like just saying it randomly or something like that. Because like okay, I get just having jokes between friends or something, and it could get like there is definitely this is just like factual that there definitely is a gender divider between like different group what girls talk about and what guys talk about. There is just that's just true. And I don't
yeah.
there's like mix between both and I'm saying but at what point what do you say gets like explicitly negative towards other people just not because like how you would actually say to them but what gets ingrained into your brain and what becomes into your subconscious behavior towards them. other people.
Yeah, that's true, and also, like, again, just making sure you're not using that as an excuse to be degrading or disrespectful to somebody. That's I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just like I
I think
like yeah. There's definitely a range from like saying like some sort of like more elegant or joke that has some sort of interesting punchline, especially for maybe you're a group of people, I guess. It's
yeah,
like women suck with an X at the end. SUX. Yeah, women sucks,
uh-huh.
and it gets to like a level of like what do you want? It's like, and this was kind of a crude joke, I'm gonna say.
It was
Stripper is
crude,
like it's like
definitely.
it was
It's a
very
little
crude.
disrespectful because he's married, and it's
Yeah.
like implying like, "Oh, if I was single, I'd do that," like even though obviously it's ridiculous too, but I mean
The person went on to say, let's put it into perspective you might understand better. Would you appreciate if your wife was talking to a friend of hers who cheated on her husband and they were bantering about yours and your other husband's sizes?
yeah, that's true. It's like, these are jokes you don't wanna hear, like yeah, they're at the expense of other people. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. And so if people are really saying it's kind of like now saying I'm more of a hidden side where this, you know, we other think of like small situations like as being very kind of just small and like, oh, it's like we'll get over it. But those scenarios are like little quiz little stitches within a larger quilt, and it could lead to
Yeah,
bigger
oh,
like
very good.
issues.
Yeah, yeah. I think this assuming that, like, he's not, like, a terrible person, this could still be repairable if he just, like, gave her a genuine apology.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Does he
but
drop the
he is in the
friend?
wrong.
Does he drop the friend?
I don't think he has to drop the friend.
Someone
I mean,
said
okay,
you fucked up. Delete your friend permanently. Get into couples counseling and assure your
maybe.
wife you would never cheat.
Okay, I agree with that, except I don't know what this friendship is like. I don't think
Yeah,
it's you're inherently wrong for being friends with somebody who did something really terrible like that.
yeah.
Like,
Because
cheating,
like
I mean, it's a really shitty, like, crappy thing to do, but, like,
yeah. Because,
I
like,
think
there is that whole idea, Isaac, that what you hang out with your friends kind of says about you?
mhm. No, I get that. And it
But
depends if is the guy who cheated a good person who made a terrible mistake, or is he just, like, awful?
yeah, I,
I don't know.
we need more content for that. But it seems like people are like really drop the friend. But
Yeah.
people can always really, and I'm not defending like people who are abusers, or anything like that, or anything like cheating or anything like that. But it's like
Well, cheating's
okay,
different
if it's not
than
like if you have a friend that has always been kind of like not on the up and level, but you've always kind of like known this person since kind of like I don't know if this is a childhood friend, but at least in my case, like there's definitely some people that are not the greatest I know, but I've known them since for like a long time, and it's very hard to kind of like break your kind of relationship with them once since you've been with them since a very young age.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do, but it's also something you have to do,
Yeah,
obviously.
and I
That could
don't
be
know if this is a scenario where this should happen, but I don't know
I don't yeah, again, I do think cheating is different from, like, abusing somebody.
because
I don't
I
think
think
cheating is
I definitely
as
get the wife's
reprehensible,
fear, Isaac, that
but it's really bad.
yeah. I definitely get the wife's fear because,
Yeah.
like, okay, what if he normalizes cheating for her husband?
Yeah, that's true, and also the fact that he was making a joke about cheating with the friend who cheated, which
I
shows
mean,
that they still talk about this kind of thing, which
yeah,
is that is a bad sign, I admit.
yeah,
I
that's
think
a bad side.
because of
So
that kind of thing, it sounds like this friendship is just kind of, like,
it
inappropriate.
seems we have a bit of a lurker in the comments where it's a like, check the dude's other posts. There are two more in which he complains about his wife.
Ooh,
One discussing how he doesn't feel she meets his needs. Another one saying that she doesn't want to be around him when he's in a bad mood.
interesting.
So we're seeing
So
we're
he's
getting a more context for this guy. Oh, and then he also said there's also a deleted "Am I the asshole?" post with the title "Am I the asshole if I threaten up to beat my father?"
oh, geez, what the heck?
So
So
we're
this
getting
guy
more
is
that this guy might be
another unhinged guy.
more of an
It's a pattern,
unhinged guy,
not a one-on thing. Yeah,
and
which makes it
there's
weird.
definitely a lot of context that I think this guy needs to be. I don't think it's gotten to the previous levels of the other story, but this guy definitely maybe some couples counseling to fix because it's a bit
Yeah,
it's warranted. Actually, said I don't trust you, but like it's a large level. But you also, dude, well, who do you hang out with? And like you gotta fix your own issues too. So definitely couples
yeah,
counseling would fix this
yeah.
situation.
I
I don't
would
know why I'm doing this, but yeah.
so I would say if this was a one-off thing, kind of, it'd be a different story. Like, he owes her an apology, I think, but, like, it's repair but if it actually is this pattern of, like, weird kind of disturbing behavior, then in that case, maybe what she's saying is perfectly understandable. Or, like, even maybe the relationship would need to end if he's bad enough.
There's a comment that says there's more to it. She hasn't loved you for a while. She just needed a reason. And then guess what the OP says to that comment?
Oh gosh, what?
Ouch.
Yeah. That would be in, like, the one we did before, the already not together when they think they are together.
Yeah. Am I the X? Yeah.
Or the ex, yeah.
Is this an am I a secret am I the X?
Maybe.
I think it
Maybe
might
she
because
decided that like,
this type of thing, it kind of like feels like we're kind of like it's not like the other story, but it feels like the previous story. We're getting the guy perspective, kind of in a way.
yeah, that's fair. Like, somebody who's justifying this kind of thing.
And so I wonder if the scenario is much more negative and like outside of his situation, outside of
Yeah,
what his perspective,
yeah.
and maybe he's like downplaying it. I think.
Yeah, it seems like an unreliable narrator kind of thing because we don't know the larger pattern of this. I think, again, as a one-off, a joke was, like, not the end of the world, it's just inappropriate. It's something you need to apologize for and stop. But if it is a pattern of things, and it will be a pattern of things, and he doesn't change, then that's a real problem.
Yeah, it becomes a serious and a very kind of dangerous problem.
And he might not be worth it at that point at all.
And
Shit.
yeah, and because like you, I definitely would have someone said like if you felt guilt about the comment about the text, and you if you deleted it, you must have felt guilt about the text. So then, if you deleted it, then there's definitely an issue because like why would you delete it if it wasn't bad,
Yeah.
And yeah, and so I'm gonna say, God, this isn't am I the asshole? These past two stories are just they're not
No.
asking, but they're just telling like their situation. But I'm gonna say this guy, he might be an asshole,
Given the larger context, it seems like he probably
and I
is. Like,
think
all his other posts and stuff
yeah,
like that.
and I think he might need to drop the friend.
Yeah, it sounds like he doesn't have a relationship with his friend where it's like he's regretful that he cheated on his wife or like they talk about how that was like he messed up. It's like they're still joking about that kind of thing. Like, oh,
Yeah,
if we were single, like,
if we were
that's
single.
like they're just this guy's
Because
not
then it becomes like when I think of that, it becomes more icky.
yeah, that they're not like being it's not the right person to like you should be joking about that kind of thing about, especially if you're married. I mean, it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
But
Someone said, this is the last comment I'll read before we move on. If my husband stayed friends with someone who cheated on his wife and had the audacity to talk about strippers with them, I would
yeah,
personally be weirded out, suspicious, and upset that you want to maintain the friendship. Then to delete any text with someone who's a known cheater would definitely make me uncomfortable.
yeah, I think that's fair. I think given the whole like extensity of the context, it's bad. I think if you had a friend who you were open with your wife that he cheated on his wife, and you had her keyed in on that, and you had a relationship that wasn't based like joking about this kind of thing, and it wasn't so secretive, then maybe it could work. But I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
But, like, does this friend even feel regret? I don't know. Seems like if he's still joking about that kind of thing.
yeah. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. That one's crazy, but
yeah.
but
So
that was
I'm
another
pretty,
one that unfolded.
yeah.
That got crazier as it unfolded.
It did because like it always like it's a small story, but then it kind of unfolds larger issues, like a microcosm of a bigger
Uh,
scenario.
yeah, people are good at unpacking those and, like, reading into things pretty well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Next story. So we have another update story. Very exciting. So this was actually posted on r slash best of Reddit updates.
okay, so it should be a good update or interesting update at
And we
least.
have some trigger warnings. Heart attack,
Okay,
mentions of accusations of infidelity, and possible spousal neglect. So,
interesting. So another intense one.
yeah. So,
Seriously.
original post January 28th, 2024. So, we have a time frame for all of this.
Okay, so this is pretty recent, or this is just this year.
Yeah. Like the it's the first month, Isaac. It's the new year. People are excited. They're still doing their resolutions before they stop doing them, you know?
Let's hear the story.
I, 30 male, have been married to my wife, 29 female, for 2 years, and we have known each other for six. A few weeks ago, we had an argument, and during our disagreement, she told me that I am replaceable. After our argument, she went out with her friends. I've been dealing with some health problems for a while, and the argument stressed me out, leaving me nervous and unwell. I was alone in the house and decided to call up the paramedics because I felt that something was really, really wrong. To sum up, I suffered a heart attack. In the hospital, they tried to reach my wife, but she didn't respond, likely still upset from our argument. She called me later after coming home when she found out that I am not there. After learning about my condition, she came to see me and stayed with me the entire time, constantly crying and holding my hands. After being sent home, she did everything so I could recover faster. However, despite her efforts, I couldn't stop thinking about how she had told me that I am replaceable. I constantly think about it. I want to confront her about it, but I don't think I am ready. I'm trying to understand why context matters. In what way or situation is it acceptable to call me or call your partner replaceable? The audacity to even say something like that is beyond me. I will answer some things here. We have no children. I have genetic health problems, external factors that also contribute to my problems. I have a higher salary than her, so I mostly pay all the bills or buy things for our home. I mostly cook and clean. She does it, but it's mostly me. It's not 50-50, more like 60-40. She isn't actively trying to kill me. I hope so, at least. I don't know if she has a fuck buddy. Let's also address the elephant in the room. We had an argument about our house, some issues with it. After that, we also discussed our priorities, careers, and intimacy. At one point in the discussion was replaced by her venting and saying things that was not even related to the original discussion. I had no issues with her ranting about things until she told me I'm replaceable. That was the end of the conversation. I no longer want to talk. She finds my silence terrifying, but she didn't stay in the house for long after the argument. I don't know when she came home. I woke up in the hospital and she was there. She kept crying and holding my hands. She didn't speak much. She couldn't. On the side note, some people in this comment section have issues themselves. Like, some of the comments are just wild, horrifying. And, yeah. That's
Okay,
before we have two more updates, I think.
interesting. So
So the
just
story
based
was
on
I didn't read it, but the story was my wife told me I'm replaceable.
yeah, yeah, and then I had a heart attack, and then she came and she felt bad or whatever. That's obviously a very mean thing to say about somebody. Um, and I do agree, like the context is interesting, but it doesn't really matter. Like there's no excuse for saying that. At the same time, though, people do say things they don't mean when they're really upset.
Yeah. It's
Um,
not like the first story where you go out and write the story. She's just saying in the heat of the moment, you know?
yeah, and I mean, it's not as mm, I guess it's not as violent of a thing to say either, even though it's still pretty mean, like, very hurtful. Um, so I do think I think it's a justifiable of him to be really upset at her and maybe even suspicious, I guess, if it's like a larger pattern, at least from this perspective. I do think he definitely needs to talk to her and ask her what she meant when she said that, though.
I definitely agree because
Because
like this is like something that like I'm really sad that she just decided to leave. You know,
yeah,
like that's
yeah,
the
that is
worst move you could have done in that situation.
yeah, even though, yeah, she was angry.
She was angry, and
She
I
was
do understand
angry off
letting
the
steam cool
and
off, but
yeah, and you
like
can't blame her for the heart attack thing, 'cause, like,
yeah, but I'm just
it
saying like, leaving just makes the scenario kind of worse, like, yeah, you need to cool off. I would just maybe go to the room and be by yourself or something, just be go to the bathroom, just let things calm down, just breathe, and just come back, together. But,
yeah,
she didn't do that, and, like, it just shows that she doesn't really care, that when she leaves to go, like what was it? Um, she went out with her friends, so it just shows that she really doesn't care, you know?
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's pretty bad timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He has every right to be upset about that, though, and I just think he needs to ask her about it. Yeah, I'm interested in her perspective too, not that it would justify it. It helps
Update. I've
maybe we'll get
decided to
some
separate for a month. We will go
okay,
to a counselor and speak maybe 1 to 2 times a week. If she cares about me, she will accept it and do everything she can to improve our relationship and our marriage. If she starts playing around, going on dates, or if I suspect her of cheating, I will end it. There won't be any forgiveness or second chances. I will make an update post sometime in the future. So many of you have reached out and offered support and advice. I think the least I can do is provide you with the update. Thank you all very much. And this was an original update within his original post, so it wasn't like compiled.
okay, I see, okay.
And so this seems like a nice, like a good, not nice, but
Like
like
a
a
good,
proper scenario.
yeah, like, if she want if they can make it work and if she can show that she cares and that what she said was a one actually, like, a mistake,
Yeah,
but not something that it really reflects, like, um that's great, and I think he's good by being firm about it as well.
yeah, yeah. And like he's
Yeah, I
like it's nice to draw boundaries, you know?
yeah, I do it, like, with the whole perspective thing, I wanna know, like, did he ask her why she said that, and did she expand on it after all that fight?
Yeah.
And maybe they'll kinda get that in the counseling, but, I don't know, interesting.
There's definitely some like comments that the person who compiled it on Best Writer Updates put in because as in they probably like provide some like either context or like very relevant like to situations or they're actually the top comments actually.
Okay.
And so for the original post because it was posted in r slash am I wrong.
Mhm.
Um, someone said my husband once said to me, wives are replaceable, mothers are not. Mom will always win. Within the year, our 9 year marriage collapsed.
That's fair. Calling anybody replaceable, yeah, it's a very just a mean thing to say.
Yeah.
Selfish, like a
It shows
selfish
that you don't value them and
no,
you think, oh, this is this is replaceable very easy. And then when you think something's replaceable, you don't take care of it. And when it
yeah,
breaks, you just you
yeah,
accepted it, you know?
yeah, and I do, believe that people say things they don't mean when they're upset, but out of all the things that they could have said, that is one of the most, like
Meaning things. It's like it's not like
yeah,
it's so simple in its maliciousness, you know?
that's true. I mean, that and the one that with the first one we read were, like, 2 things that are very alarming to hear, even in a fit of anger.
It's like
Um,
it's been replaced.
yeah. I mean, this is I would say not as bad as the "I wish you were dead" or whatever, but I mean, it's bad. So, yeah, I think that update, he took the right path.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Let's see. What else do they say? And yeah. So let's. What do you think the update could be?
Either
Because this update for context, it was March 9th, so
something
1.5 months later.
so maybe it's either the relationship the wife apologized and they're going to therapy and they put the relationship back together, or it didn't work out and she, like, left him or something, or he decided to leave her, she wasn't worth it or something.
Well, it's quite a doozy. So, as
Let's hear it.
promised, here's an update on my situation. I won't go into much detail, just the most important things. Physically, I'm doing great. I've started working out again, although at a slower pace than before. With time, it will get better. Separation really helped me a lot. Firstly, I might sound selfish, but I only worried about myself, so I did everything for myself. At first, it was a different feeling. I felt alone for the first time in a really long time, and I needed a few days to get used to it. After I got used to it, it was actually quite nice. I got to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I bought myself a lot of things, redecorated a bit, changed some old things, and honestly, I liked it. There was no stress, no arguments, no problems. It was peaceful and quiet. I also got myself a cat, and the two of us get along really well.
Nice.
I spoke to my wife on a weekly basis. We also went to a counselor, which really changed a lot of things. Whenever we went there, I laid all my cards on the table. I was really honest, maybe too honest, and I said a lot of things that have accumulated over time. Every annoyance, every issue, pretty much everything I thought could be way better. My wife took the separation really hard. It was really bad. For the first few days, she was fine, or she pretended to be, but as time progressed, it was clear she wasn't doing well. What I did whenever we went to a counselor, I focused only on trying to figure out my marriage issues. But as soon as I left the counselor, I checked out, like a switch. I didn't want to bring any of it home and disturb my peace. My wife also started individual therapy for her own mental health and issues that have been present for some time. I asked if she cheated on me, and honestly, I expected an outburst of rage or yelling, but there wasn't any of it. She was really sweet and told me no, and that she understands why I might think that. And she offered her phone and social media accounts for me to check. For some reason, I decided to be a dick and told her that maybe she deleted and covered her tracks. She has no proof of anything. Again, no yelling or anything, just a really sad look in her face. I realized that I went too far and I apologized. Time passed and I decided to let it go. So I told her that I forgive her and that I will give her another chance. Honestly, I want some form of revenge, but while revenge might be sweet, everything after it is bitter. I also told her that I won't forget her words. Anyway, she came back to my house and everything changed. No longer am I doing the most of the stuff. She now works just as hard, maybe even more than me, and she doesn't allow me to do certain things, much to my annoyance. We will continue going to a counselor for a bit longer, and she is still going to her individual therapist. While I like being alone, I truly missed her. I missed her hair, her smile, her eyes, and now I find myself looking at her and paying attention to everything she does. I guess separation made us appreciate each other way more than before. Maybe we took each other for granted, and we didn't value each other until we split. I think we fell in love again. I can't describe it, but each hug, each touch feels different, like it radiates with sincerity and love. As for the future, I am planning a trip in secret for a surprise. So we can go out of town for a few days, just the two of us. Time alone really helped me relax and not worry about unimportant things. I focused on myself and what I really want, what I want my marriage to be and my life. So now I'm going to work towards that. We really lean on each other to communicate better. We became much more open towards each other and more vulnerable. I think it will help us going forward. I guess after all, it turns out that I'm not easily replaceable.
Well, that is the best ending
That's a
possible.
that's like
Dream ending. It's like the
that's
end
the
of the
best ending.
romance novel. Beautiful. That's nice. That one's a nice one to, in contrast to
That's
the
definitely a nice
others.
one. Contrast to the other two, it's like there's like as much of it as it could be fixed. Like there's always gonna be something with the stripper guy, the husband stripper thing. There's
Yeah,
always
it's
gonna be
on
that lingering issue. But this
no
seems
close.
like a very positive situation.
Yeah, best case, like, genuine love for each other, genuine reflection, genuine, like, growth, and genuine change. It's, like, it's beautiful.
And it's nice that they're able to fix each other and like kind of work. They're doing counseling, and she realizes her
Yeah,
own issues, and she goes to therapy herself, which
that's
was nice.
perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, we always talk about how important therapy is in, like, all these situations, and they went and did it, and it fixed everything.
Yeah, this is a
With
way of not letting this sort of microcosm or not this sort of fight linger on into resentment and bitterness. Because like even no, it was not they didn't like arc out cleanly of this. Like he was still kind of a dick when he said like, "Have you cheated on me?" But you realized his
yeah,
own issue and for
and that's beautiful.
apologized to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, and he obviously has a right to be upset about what she said still, which he kind of said. He said he won't forget the words,
Yeah, because like
but obviously people make mistakes, and he knows that.
and words like the words are burning daggers in your mind.
Yeah, yeah, and think something like that. What's it? This
Sticks and stones can't hurt.
forgive, but don't forget,
Oh, I was thinking of sticks and stones
will break someone's
may break my bones, but words can never hurt me, or is it they can hurt me?
Yeah, that thing always confused me.
Is it that they can hurt you or they can't hurt you?
Because I always thought of it like it hurts more, but it's saying this phrase is saying that I'm like your words mean nothing to me, and I'm steadfast. You know,
I'm
but
sorry. There's
awesome.
in the original like post there's a whole new sub story that someone says with their own like perspective. Like how I said I said a portion of of their comments that someone said within our relationship, the 9-year marriage class. I said that one, the commenter.
Mhm.
There's like a whole. She goes on her whole own story
Yeah.
with her own mama's boy husband. Which I didn't say just because I wanted to focus on the main story, but I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Well, that sounds yeah, that's like what the OP was saying. There's a lot of people venting out
OP,
the
there's some relevant comments that someone says, "Sounds like you were happy or single. I'm not really clear why you went back to your wife. At any rate, good luck. Wish you the best. Indeed, for a time, I was, and I felt something was missing. People sometimes say they don't mean in the heat of the moment. She did it too. I think it was fair to both of us. Some time apart from each other really helped us figure out what each of us wants and what we mean to each other. Life is better when you get to share it with somebody."
it's beautiful, yeah. I think it's kind of naive to just be like, "Oh, it seemed like you were happy or single." Like, I mean, you don't really know,
Yeah.
I think this guy knows more about what makes
Yeah. What makes him and his wife happy?
yeah, yeah, and he obviously, he explains how much he misses her and stuff. So, yeah. This is just like, yeah, what is that?
Uh,
When somebody says something angry in the heat of the moment, what do you do? The first one dealt with that, and
first you gotta like, just like,
that
you gotta get the situation to be to a calmer level and then just separate, like
yeah,
steam off, just blow off steam for a little bit and then like apologize and like then you're better
yeah,
together. And
yeah, I agree with
obviously
that.
it went to a more negative space when he got like a heart attack or something.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but compared to the first one was somebody who said something in the heat of the mo wrote something in the heat of the moment, and it was a larger pattern.
It was a large word. This is like kind of the opposite.
It is, yeah. It was a real heat of the moment kind of thing. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
they were able to grow.
Um. Yeah. And
Good one.
it's a very nice
It
situation that
is.
it ends up like this.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Good, good people too.
No, the all the commenters on the best writer update is just posting about like the about the other commenter about her own story, with the mama's boy's husband.
Yeah,
Oh no, the mama's boy husband.
yeah.
Um, Damn. Sorry, someone said,
There you go.
not gonna lie, OP. Not a huge fan of your choice to put an intermission longer than the initial post because it was long. This intermission.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
They,
funny. But no, it's like I'm so glad this went well, and I really
it,
thought when I found the story is gonna be like, "You told me I'm replaceable," and then we broke up, and like maybe that's a good
yeah,
scenario because was terrible, but it definitely
yeah,
feels like they're working together and they've they're being better.
yeah.
Um,
Great.
that's our third story. So fourth
Good.
story is, am I the asshole for blowing up at my husband for eating my daughter's birthday candy?
Okay, right off the bat, I'd say, assuming he knew it was her daughter's birthday candy, yeah, no, she's not the asshole, 'cause that's mean,
That's
but let's
mean.
hear the context.
Newbie to Reddit, a friend told me to post here, and this was 3 years ago, by the way.
Mm,
My husband and I have a 12-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. My husband is the no parent. For as long as I can remember, he'll always say no to stores or sports. He'll always say no in stores or sports games to the kids' request for snacks or toys, even if they offer to pay with their own cash. I don't undermine my husband when we are together, but when I have the kids alone, I do tend to say yes, within reason, of course, not to every single thing. 2 days
yeah,
ago was my daughter's birthday. It's her second birthday since we've been in lockdown, and I bought her 2 boxes of her favorite candy, along with gifts. My daughter ate some of her Swedish fish right out of the first box, and
good ta
decided to save the rest
she has
for
good
her.
taste in
What I think?
she has good taste in candy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a good candy.
it is
Continue,
a
though.
good candy. I've never been a big Swedish fish guy, but
I've always been a big
really,
Swedish fan. Yep.
is that your favorite Halloween candy to get?
No, not my favorite. It used to be if you had asked me a while ago, like, when I was a little kid, what my favorite candy was, I would've said Swedish Fish, though.
It's a good fish. I'm always a Starburst guy.
The Starbucks are good.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Anyways,
Um,
though.
along with her gifts. My daughter ate some of her Swedish fish right out of the first box and decided to save the rest on her dresser, where her brother is too short to reach and assumed us, the parents, wouldn't take any. Well, I was wrong. I woke to my daughter crying that her dad had eaten her second box of Swedish fish and some out of the first box and only left her with a few. I
What?
checked the trash in our bedroom and confirmed my husband had eaten them. I was furious. I screamed at him that he is a grown man who can go to the store and buy whatever the fuck he wants without anyone to tell him no. While he always says no to our kids, and the rare time she gets to eat her favorite candy, his ass has to eat it. He said that we were both making a big deal over the candy. I told him that it was more than just candy, that he obviously doesn't like seeing our kids happy, and he's a thief. I took my kids to my sister's house to cool down and bought my daughter some more Swedish fish to make up for the ones that my husband stole. We're still at my sister's house a day later. Until my husband can truly apologize to his child, the thought of him disgusts me. Am I the asshole? No.
I would say no.
And
No, I mean, okay, it is just candy, but just expecting just a basic apology is not asking that much. Like, all she's saying is just apologize for eating the candy, which she needs to. Like, that's so rude. Also, like you have this uncontrollable desire for your daughter's candy, and you know it's your daughter's candy. At least
ask.
replace it before she wakes up. Even.
Yeah, even replace just like maybe
I mean,
ask your daughter if I can have like a candy, like one or two, you know?
yeah, or be like the whole like dad tax thing, like dad tax, and then like pour a little bit in your hands. But
That's so cringe.
I don't know anybody who does that. But
Dad
I mean,
tax, taking your computer. Dad tax.
yeah, it's rude, and the fact that he acted like he didn't know what was the big deal,
There's
I mean, it's
this
just
story is
disrespectful.
so fucking loaded with so many things.
Yeah,
Okay,
even though the basis is so simple.
it's so simple, but it's such a loaded story. Cause like one, why, what? Okay, I understand saying no as a parent, cause like sometimes you gotta just be firm and with your child, but like he seems like an overbearing knower. Like no to anything. And second, okay, I don't know what their financial situation is, cause like obviously you can have your own. You can like people like are from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Like they cherish different things more, and it seems like this family kind of like at least the daughter really cherishes this really small thing of Swedish fish, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the dad financials are, but like why it doesn't seem like it would be that much to just buy Swedish fish. They're like what, $5?
No, it's like a box of Swedish fish is like $2.
Yeah, it's like
So,
nothing.
like, I mean, it's unless they're like but I mean, if even if somehow you didn't have enough money to buy Swedish fish, then just it doesn't matter. You don't eat your
Yeah,
daughter's Swedish Fish, that's
there's like
doesn't make it any less it's just candy, you don't need candy. Candy's a lug like a candy's just something to enjoy, it's not
yeah.
like
I'm like, what grown man like needs Swedish Fish this bad that he wants to disrespect his
yeah,
daughter on her birthday? Like,
I
I
agree.
could never
It's a
imagine doing that to a potential child of mine. Like, oh,
mean.
we got you this cake,
Yeah.
Timmy. I'm gonna eat your fucking whole cake.
Sorry?
Sorry, dad
Sorry?
tax.
That's it's also funny, he didn't even take, like okay, it'd be one thing if he secretly took, like, 2,
Yeah,
but he took the entire other
he took the
box.
entire second box and some of the first box, Isaac.
That's a lot of like, he really wanted candy. He
Listen,
ate, like,
how
all
will
the
you not
all
get Isaac, I cannot do that, man. I
the
know I'm only 19. I'm only 19, and I cannot eat, like, a full box of, like, Sour Patches in, like, one sitting
yeah,
or
that's a
anything.
lot of I mean, I don't know. I don't there's no really good
That's
excuse.
so sugary,
He
Isaac.
owes
That's so
yeah.
sugary.
So it's a lot, yeah. And he clearly owes her an apology, the daughter and the mother.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then so until he can do that,
but at one point, what I obviously the apology, but, like, at one point, like, it's just, like, a really weird thing to do, Isaac.
it is
It's a weird I would look at my I never would look at him the same again, you know?
I don't know about that. I think
I
it's forgivable.
But it's like
It's
it's such a weird thing to
it was
do.
rude and mean, but it's like
I don't know. I'm like, it's
it
really weird to do this.
it's weird, but I don't think it's like I don't know, like, I mean, I've had parents, like, take some of my candy before, not ever that much,
They
and it
took
was
your
usually almost they
whole
all no, they almost always ask too,
but
but
yeah, all you have to do is like
the
ask your daughter for like, why do you need why do you need like so
the
much
entire
candy, dude?
box, and you know she wouldn't say yes, like, if you're asking for the entire other box, which is probably why he didn't ask.
It's your daughter's birthday. She there's only there's I don't know. There's it doesn't seem like you just come out from lockdown, and so like
Yeah,
her second birthday from lockdown or something like that. And she likes Swedish Fish so much as a candy. She it's her thing. Like she really likes it. But then you disrespect your daughter and being rude to her by stealing her candy. It's just a really weird thing to do.
it is weird, very messed up, or very yeah, just rude. What did the comments say?
Um, reading between this is this is 25,000 upvotes on this comment.
Dang.
Reading between the lines here, but there seems to be dysfunction in your marriage that rises well above an "Am I the asshole?" post on Reddit. You're obviously at your end of your tether with your husband's behavior, which you have discussed with him numerous times in the past, only to have him now do something this obnoxious to his own daughter and seeing absolutely nothing wrong with it. Some would say your behavior was over the top. More likely, this incident was just the straw that broke the camel's back. So, not the asshole. And we didn't say anything about like this was so bad. I think she moved to her
Yeah.
sister's house.
You got really pissed about this, it's gotta be justifiable.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
why.
true. People are reading into this pretty well. I mean, it's definitely and she even explains it that it's like sounds like it's a real pattern.
And it seems like we might not be getting the full story. It's like not from her perspective, like his perspective, it just may this might be the thing that like a small thing, microcosm of a larger event. You know.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
his
that's
like
probably
his
true.
very hypocritical nature, because like it's one thing that like no to everything, but then you eat your own daughter's candy. Like that feels
Yeah,
like very bro. Just
like the one that's invading into what the because the whole way the relationship's been working is the mother accepts that he usually says no to the kids. She says yes to the kids, so it kinda counteracts each other well. But then he breaks into that by taking the candy that he wouldn't buy his kids. Very rude.
ask your husband to explain something to you. If your candy isn't a big deal, why does he never allow the children to buy it, even with their own money? That's really weird. Like
Yeah, with his own money?
with their own
Did they
money, like that's like I feel like that's always been a thing, like with parents and children. Like if you can buy with like obviously parents should buy things for their kids. I just believe that parents should buy things for their kids, but it's always been kind of thing, at least in my family, like hey, or I know other families like if you can buy with your own money, yeah, fucking buy it, dude. It's your thing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. I think it's Yeah, especially it's just candy, and he's being showing himself because if it's like he doesn't want his kids to eat sweets because it's unhealthy,
That's one
well, then he's
thing.
being a hypocrite by eating sweets himself.
Yeah.
In either way, it's bad.
And it seems like there's no, like, authoritative or, like, parental, like, sort of figure or excuse behind the nose. It just seems like no for no's sake, you know?
Just because he doesn't wanna deal with it or something. I don't know. Like a lazy kinda no, maybe.
Um, yeah, and, but the thing is, like, when she moves to her sister's house, that's, like, behavior you see when in abusive relationships, when they have to move out of the house,
Yeah,
just not be, and so I wonder if there's any, like, factor in that, that builds up because like, she says, like the way she says, "My husband," it feels like a way that she's saying, like, "My ex-husband," kind of way, 'cause it feels like
it
they're not together, like, the way he says to his child, not our
yeah,
child, you know?
yeah, or she's definitely very angry at him. I wonder though, like, is she moved in with her sister in the long run, or is it just like, "For the today, we're gonna spend time there until you
Yeah, I
apologize?"
don't know, cause like,
The
I've
way
never
the
been in a scenario where either of I don't know if you have, but where either of my parents have moved out for any, like, big issues or any I've never had that ever.
though.
But I've
It
definitely heard about those type of things from different, like, friends and stuff, but,
yeah,
it feels like, it might be because this is it seems like it's either a big reaction to something small or a justifiable reaction to something that's part of a larger pattern.
which is what it seems more like, just given the context.
Not
And I
the
don't know.
asshole. Your husband has every right to say no to his kids, and it's a good lesson to learn that we can't always have what we want. What is not a good lesson to teach your kids is that when they do listen to their parents and are finally given something they asked for, that at any given moment, the parents can change their mind and take it back, and that nothing is given to them to actually have ownership of. I don't know, Isaac. Maybe
Yep,
that is the best lesson ever.
yeah,
You know?
that's a real issue. That's the real fundamental issue with the dad tax,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, maybe, but maybe no, maybe he's right because maybe life just does suck and you can't have anything and they just take everything from you.
That's true. It's like those,
Maybe he's teaching him a real life lesson.
there's, like, cheesy little videos where they're, like, the dad's, like, trying to teach their kids about taxes, so he, like, gives them something and then takes some of it away for, like,
It's like the
"That's
dark
dad
version of
tax."
that.
It is, except it's still yeah, he didn't make that lesson clear. Either way, it's dumb.
No, she's not the asshole, and um,
No.
it's like
The dad owes
there's
an
definitely there
apology.
needs to be some a big conversation about him and having to change his behavior.
I agree. Yeah, he needs to do a reflection, an apology, and then
Maybe go to his
actually
own
work on
therapist
changing exactly, work on changing his behavior.
because it seems like he's being very, very like cruel and like rude or something.
Yeah, again, I will say I don't think him saying no to his kids a lot is necessarily the end of the world,
Yeah,
assuming that the things he's saying no to are just things like candy, like, whatever, like and the mom is there to kinda so the kids are still getting
yeah.
but
Also,
the
yeah, but
theft is ridiculous.
and there's like one thing that you could say like, oh, you left out your candy on the counter or something, and I didn't realize.
Yeah, if the dad didn't know it was his daughter's, it'd be a whole
But
different story.
he was
He
malicious
knew.
in trying to go into a
I
room to
he
off the
snuck
dresser.
he snuck in there in the middle of the night to steal the candy. What was he expecting? It's ridiculous. He needed it that bad? I don't it's
Um,
it's so weird.
Also the fact they didn't think of his daughter's feelings are really concerning, as someone points out. That's a really
That's
concerning
so
thing, isn't it?
he acted naive about it, which
Right?
doesn't
It's
make
not a
sense.
big deal. We also is a key sign in abusive relationships where the abuser underplays
Oh,
their own acts of abuse to
or
like
says it's
to
not so
kind of
serious.
trick the person into thinking that it's
It's
normal.
normal, and that they were being crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no like abuse here, but it's like he
Well,
is
we don't
saying he is downplaying it.
yeah, that's true. That's not good. It's inappropriate behavior.
The fact
It's
he's not saying
concerning
sorry is
behavior.
very. I'm saying
Very
obviously
clear.
parents should like show like parents that should show like a unified front and stuff like that, but like
Yeah.
when they admit they're wrong they gotta say they're wrong to their kid. They can't just
Yeah,
not pretend they're not wrong. 'Cause
agree.
that just
Yeah.
like is not aligned with the world.
Yeah, it's weird that he doesn't feel, like, immediate guilt. That's very strange because it's
Yeah.
such, like, obviously, like, your daughter's, crying or whatever because you like, it's very sad because you stole her candy. I mean, it's Dude.
Yeah, it's candy, dude. It's candy. There's not like it's not like if any other gift would never have this situation. It's specific food that you can only consume one time. It's not Legos. It's not anything like that. You can't take and you can
Yeah,
always give something back. But candy, it's an act that you know once it's gone, it's gone.
yeah, and you got the enjoyment out of it, you took that from your daughter, even though it was her birthday gift.
Because even if she gets Swedish fish again, Isaac, it's not gonna be the same.
No, it was her birthday candy. There's nothing like that birthday Swedish fish.
You've had birthday Swedish fish?
I have, yeah, many times, but, you know,
Okay.
that
Last
was it.
story
Okay,
of the
let's hear it.
day. On r slash am I the asshole 180 days ago, someone said, am I the asshole for not complimenting my wife so that she won't become vain?
Oh my gosh. Okay, oh, right off the bat, I mean, that sounds dumb as hell. It's not your job to and that's not your responsibility to make sure your
My
wife
wife
doesn't
is
become
I didn't
vain.
want my wife
You're
to
an
think she's
adult.
pretty.
That's so stupid. Okay, but let's hear the story.
Uh, my wife, 29 female, and I, 31 female, have been together for 10 years. We share 3 children, 9, 7, and 5. My wife has never been someone to really dress up or to put much thought into her looks. She's always been beautiful, but never really did much to highlight it until recently. She went through this crisis of feeling like she didn't have a personality outside of being a mom, something like that. So for the last 2 years, she started traveling more, joining different groups, dressing really nicely, wearing makeup. I never realized how much of a difference it would make, but people treat her completely different. She is constantly getting complimented, told she should be in magazines. She'll come home and happily tell me about the random stranger who was so nice to her. She randomly gets gifts. Lady at her job brought her a book series she was interested in. She gets hit on. When we go out, all these dudes want to buy her drinks. Even my family has noticed. And all of sudden, it seems like they're wondering how I ended up with her. Honestly, it's a bit overwhelming for me and something I'm just not used to. It's kind of become annoying. Anyways, she was going out with her friends and she asked me how she looked. I just said, fine. She seemed disappointed with this. My sister was over and commented that I should hype her up. I said, why should I when the world already does? That I don't want her to think highly of herself and becoming more vain. My sister's looked was shocked and said, that's fucked up. Said that's low key abusive and that I'm an asshole. I think she's overthinking it, but decided to get outside opinions. So, am I the asshole?
Yeah, another one, yeah, definitely the asshole. 'Cause you sound I mean okay, OP wait. Yeah, OP sounds jealous, right?
Yeah.
Like,
He's insecure about his own thing.
is OP wait, sorry, is OP a woman or a man?
OP is my wife, so he's a male. I.
Yeah, but wait, at the beginning, what was it at the
My
beginning?
wife, 29 female, and I, 31 female. They're 29 and 31, and they have a
They're
kid
both fem
9, 7, and
they're
5.
both females though, it says.
31 male.
Wait, sorry, read that again.
My
Sorry.
wife, 29 female, and I, 31 male.
Okay, okay. But
No, maybe I've been
so
reading it wrong. I don't know.
okay, you might have
But my
read
29 female and I, 31 male.
okay.
Sorry.
No,
So
all
they've
good.
been together for 10 years since they were basically 20 and 19 years old, kind of.
Uh-huh.
And they have
Yeah,
3 children, so they had children fast.
yeah, early.
And
Fast and
so
early.
so they've been together for a while. So Um, but now that and so I think he got very used to this routine of she's nice, but then when she gets more I guess put up, it makes him feel bad, and then he starts to lash out because obviously none. It doesn't matter how much a stranger or anybody else says you look nice. That's all decimated when someone like you know very personally says, "Fine."
Yeah, and somebody I mean, it's your partner, like, who's supposed to hype you up except for your own partner? Like, it's just it's so, like, blatantly he's seems very toxic, OP, just, like, so blatantly insecure. Like, this all is obviously, like, because I mean, it's not your job to make sure she isn't vain. Like, that is implying something bad about your partner that you think they're gonna become vain from you complimenting them, that's very rude.
Someone said, "You're the asshole, dude. If your wife doesn't think or know or hear you express that you think she's beautiful, then what's going to stop her from leaving you for someone who does tell her that? She's beautiful
Exactly.
and treats her wonderfully. Your wife is beautiful, and you thought she was great even without all the makeup and the new style and the new interests. Now she has all of those things, and what? Do you feel left behind? Do you take any interests in her new interests? Travel with her at all? What are you doing to make your wife feel seen?"
Yeah, that's true. He seems to be, like, so focused on himself here and, like,
Yeah,
his own weird, like, self-conscious yeah.
yeah, because she will if you don't say anything, like, because like, what I think this is a monstrous thing to say. Um, uh, I said that I don't want her thinking too highly of herself. What a
Yeah,
monstrous thing to say. I don't want
it's
my wife
terrible.
thinking feel good about herself, you know?
No, she feels too good ab she feels like she's beautiful, I can't be having that.
No, I
That's
can't
messed
because
up.
then people are gonna be like, "Why would you end up with her? How about you just be confident, like, because I'm the best or something like that, and
No,
because we're
yeah,
the best looking people." Like, say something more like, I don't know, say something like cute or something. To like, why would people be
yeah,
if people say that to you, they're just rude and mean, you
yeah.
know?
It's jealous and he's salty. It's obvious. It's like it's just and he's letting it out and, like I mean, that's it's like you don't have faith in your wife. You think that
Yeah.
she's gonna become like a narcissist or something just for
If you just
like,
become confident
tolerate
within yourself, these comments that people say to you, like, why would she end up with you, wouldn't hurt you, you know?
yeah, yeah. Leave it to her to, like, decide if she's becoming vain or whatever. That's not your job.
Yeah, and don't like if you feel this way, and that's people are allowed to feel anything they want, and they're all
That's
the
true.
feelings are valid. But if you feel this way, just talk to your wife about this. You know, don't tell her to like do anything like
Yeah,
stop wearing anything she wants, do anything she wants. Just tell her he feels a bit insecure and he just wants to talk it out or something. You know?
yeah. Well, that's what he needs because it's obviously this is within himself. It's his own issues with himself. He needs to do some self-reflection,
Yeah,
serious self-reflection, and then talk to her about that. Make her let her know it's not her fault at all. He's he's
yeah.
having his own hard time with his own self, and he needs to work on that in therapy or
Yeah,
something.
and the sister that we get, it's nice to know how does he not hear how crazy it sounds like.
Yeah,
I don't want to feel highly of herself when his sister literally says his my sister looked shocked and said that's
it's
fucked up.
yeah. It's really good that she was there because
Yeah,
then otherwise, like, having somebody there to, like, make the wife feel, like, seen, right? Or somebody to call him out on his
yeah. But he says I
hard
think she's overthinking it and decide to get outside opinions. So I don't know. I hope like he did something to like fix his own reflection of himself with her. You know.
yeah, hopefully he's open-minded enough to realize that he's immature and insecure.
You're the asshole. My gods, your wife is finding herself and investing time in herself to feel good. You don't like this because she's getting outside validation? Wow, you're not supportive. Your wife is
Yep,
beautiful. Out of everyone in the world, you should be the one telling her
the
that
mo
every day. You should
Yep,
eat, telling her how much you love her and that you're happy she's becoming happier and finding more fulfillment.
yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah,
definitely
so
feels um he's like he never has been really saying that to her ever really because he said like she's always been beautiful but never did really much to highlight it. Have you ever told her that? You know,
that's true. Sounds like he's just, like, weird and, like, in his own head about it or
he feels
something,
like I know he
and
feels
jealous.
like it definitely feels like isn't it is all everything she does kind of a reflection of him. With anything she does is just a reflection of him. You know.
Yeah, yeah, he's if anybody's kind of thinking selfishly or egotistically, it's him. I mean, he needs to except no, I think it comes from genuine insecurity with himself.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like he has a lot of issues with himself, probably, and that's where this comes from, but that's no excuse. That's something you need to work on, you know? He needs to work
Someone
on.
said info. Why don't you why don't you want your wife to, as you put it, think too highly of herself? OP
Yeah,
says, I just don't want her becoming a person that only cares about looks, constantly trying to look her best. I don't want her seeking validation via compliments. And he
yeah,
got
you need
509 downvotes.
or does he not have confidence in, like, trust in his wife that, like, who she is? She's not gonna become a completely different person.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't know.
you know,
I mean,
if you don't know your wife at this point, come on, man. I
yeah,
feel
you
like
think she's
by
gonna
10 years you should know who she is.
yeah, she's just putting more she's enjoying putting attention to how she looks, and I
Yeah,
mean, you gotta support
everyone
her for
like
that.
it. Isaac, I got a haircut.
Sure. You do. Look, wow, Ari, did you get a haircut?
Yeah, but
Looks good.
I don't want you to think too highly of myself. You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't that's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I didn't wanna I didn't wanna make you vain or
yeah. You're ugly. You're fine, Isaac.
exactly, that's what you gotta do, say, no, don't
Nah,
look
I
too
don't want
good."
you thinking too highly of yourself.
No, and then you just end up making your wife feel like, w insecure you're dragging her down to your level.
Yeah,
You feel insecure about yourself, you're trying to drag her down there with you.
yeah. And then it's like she's gonna have a worse time in the, because I felt so bad for her when he said she was going out with friends and asked me how she looked, and I said, "Fine." She seemed disappointed with
Like,
this.
he's, like, angry at her or, like, upset at her for, like, wanting to look good,
Yeah,
at least to herself, feel self-confident about how she looks,
yeah. I feel like
and he
he's
can't
might be
herself.
creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
like he kind of
Yeah,
expects her to act this way, so he kind of treats her the way, you know. And then when she
yeah,
leaves him, he'll be like, because she was trying to get all these
yeah.
compliments, you know.
He's gonna twist it, like, 'cause, yeah, in his head, he's probably yeah, he's thinking, like yeah, he's think yeah, he's getting kinda incel-y. I mean, he's thinking, like he's insecure about himself. He thinks sh he thinks that, yeah, she's gonna leave him because she's he's because
Yeah,
she gets all his attention or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, and then he's forcing that by making her feel and then he's creating his own self problem because then she's not gonna wanna be with him anymore. It's like, it's like that's like the incel problem.
yeah.
Like, you're
And
making yourself unappealing by and you say, "Oh, I'm so unappealing," but that's because through your mindset, you're
yeah.
I feel unappealing.
And there's definitely he definitely did not write this to get a genuine opinion about
Mhm.
am I the act there are people like, oh, I really want to know if I'm the asshole, but he did not do this to get, he just wanted
Yeah,
justification, he just wanted to be justified in his own beliefs.
I agree. Yeah.
Um
He needs some serious self-reflection to get himself out of that.
yeah.
Maybe
Someone
I'm
said,
reading into it.
you're the asshole. Oh, my wife is too pretty and I'm insecure about it. Wah wah. So I feel like it's acceptable to be a dick. Wah wah. I'm a victim, really. Wah.
Exactly. It's that mindset that's he's shifting the blame even though he has his own issues he needs to take care of himself.
Yeah. Um, you're the asshole. She feels more confident, and people react well to confidence. If people are wondering how I ended up with her, why don't you take a look at yourself instead of cutting her down? Yeah. If you feel bad about yourself, why don't you make yourself feel better?
Yeah. I agree, and that's his own insecurity that's getting in the way of that, and that's something he needs to work on. He needs to match her confidence.
It
He
also
needs to
seems like this
support her,
guy, yeah,
raise him up to her level instead of trying to drag her down to his
yeah,
lowly,
yeah.
insecure level.
It's really sad, and I don't know, unless this guy does some serious reflection, this might not last in like another 180 days.
Yeah, and she will be the one that breaks up with him
Yeah,
probably if he's
yeah.
creating
It,
this yeah, like you said, this
it also
prophecy.
seems like, he says that she has a bit of a crisis because she doesn't feel like she has the personality that's outside of being a mom. And
Mhm.
in the beginning, like, I feel like this guy might be the guy who doesn't really help with the children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's not helping this at all. I mean, that's a valid, like, obviously a valid desire, right?
Yeah, it's a midlife
And
crisis. Everyone has those kind
yeah,
of.
yeah, but he obviously is
But it's like
not
he
able
probably
to do
like
that.
doesn't like probably like, oh, my wife, she's the one who takes care of the
The kid
kids. It's like, I feel like he might be being resentful that she's not like she's getting rid of her not getting rid of her motherly duties, but like trying to remove herself, kind of just being that, and he's like angry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's not able to sympathize with her because he doesn't live in that world, it seems like.
Yeah,
May
and let's see. Everyone says like you're the fucking asshole if you can suspect that.
yeah, definitely is.
You're the asshole, not abusive, just a male body part. This woman has given you 3 kids and is finally doing something for her and you. You ridiculous and insecure excuse of a partner are raining on her. Fabulous parade. Boo to you.
Yeah, and I think he hopefully he reads these comments, has self-reflection about his own issues, and it works on them and apologizes.
Someone did
But
someone did some fucking shade. I wanted to leave this here for you. R/divorced.
yeah, if he continues down that line, that relationship is
That's where he's gonna post. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be he needs to do some quick self-reflection and
Yeah, because
apologies.
like he is going to because like for right now it's still it's for him it's like a whole like complex web of emotions and like insecurities. For her it's all like just one comment.
Yeah,
So
one
it's
hurtful
still it's
comment.
still there's like I think people can often get within their own heads about what other people think about and like feel and stuff like that, all that. But it's like and it
Mhm.
becomes a whole like web of like situations and scenarios. But for other people, it could just be like one single comment that it makes me feel bad, but it hasn't gone to like a catastrophic level yet.
Yeah,
But like so he still has time to fix his web. I'm gonna
he
have to
does.
say.
He has a bad mindset right now, and he said something hurtful, but luckily he still has some time
He still
to
has
realize
time, and
that.
it's been 180 days since he posted it, but
I wanted
and there's
to
no
figure it
update or
out.
anything like that. Which
At this point, it's like 50-50. Either he realized it and they're still together, or they didn't and they're broken up.
there's some stories I just want an update for, and that's I really want
I
to know.
know see if he had a good mindset shift.
But I think that's the end for today. And
That was a good one.
or the biggest assholes, definitely the first guy.
Yeah, first guy, considering that we kind of missed the mark on him at first, but he's definitely the scariest guy here
Yeah, definitely the scariest
by a
guy.
long shot, honestly.
Um,
Um,
best story of the day, the replaceable story, because they got back together.
that's true. That was such a good ending. Great updates. And then the last one was crazy though too.
Yeah.
But
Deleted text wife guy.
that one was complicated. I don't think. Yeah, that one was very complex.
I guess second biggest
Even a
asshole
complex,
is the
but
guy who ate daughter's candy.
yeah, honestly, yeah. And then 3rd, I would say is the text guy.
Yeah.
Then
And
4th is
then
the wife.
yeah,
Wait, no, what was this last one? No, 4th is
is fourth the replaceable wife?
maybe or this guy,
No,
one of
this
those.
guy, yeah. Because no, in the replaceable wife, she actually reflected on
That's
herself.
true, that's true. And this guy, if he goes through that, then maybe he can be redeemed, but
But I
we don't
I
know.
don't know. Damn. Well, this has been Red Reader's Digest. See you next week.
Thanks for watching.